It's another day for another review. So we have a Tomica Limited Vintage Porsche 911 LV-86f. So this is the, whatever number that would be in the alphabet, release of this. I'm too lazy to count it out, sorry. Anyways, saw this thing on Champion DJ K's channel. He got one, and then Lamley Group, he was showing these off as well. So now's the time, right? So mine happened to get in here, or actually, I went to my local purveyor of TLV, and I picked it up. I did pre-order it, but I wanted to inspect it because sometimes these things get paint problems, even brand new. All right, let's take a look here. So as usual, I did a little research, and this thing is the first 911, which came out in 1966, and it was the replacement for the 356. And wait, that doesn't seem right, because later on in this Wikipedia article, it says it was available between 1964 and 1989. So I don't know which is correct, but the box does say 1966 on it. So maybe that's what it is. I think it's just TLV made it in 1966, but possibly this thing was available for sale in the real world in 1964. I apologize if my information is a bit convoluted. Alright, well, anyways, let's take a look at these photos here. And that's as close as I could find of what looked like what's inside the box. It's got some steel hubcap kind of wheels, some lights there in the bottom of the bumper. Okay. Let's take a look at this back view. Yeah, alright, that looks pretty similar to me. Okay. Alright, so let's see. This is powered by an air-cooled 2-liter flat 6-cylinder, making around 130 horsepower. And it had a 5-speed manual transmission. I think 5 speeds back in the 60s was pretty good. I think a lot of other cars would have a 3 or 4-speed transmission. This had 2+2 seating and go up to 130 miles per hour, I think because it looks pretty aerodynamic. You know, Porsche has aerodynamic designs. The 356 was pretty aerodynamic for its day. But this one was styled by Ferdinand Butzi Porsche. I think he's the son of Ferdinand Ferry Porsche. Does that mean he's the grandchild of the original Ferry Ferdinand Porsche? I don't know. I think Ferry Porsche is his son, or is he the originator? Please leave a comment if you knew. Erwin Komenda also got involved with the design. So that's all I learned about this. So let's take a look at this model now. So this is orange to the naked eye. Not sure what your screen is going to show, but it's like it's not a bright orange, but it's not quite mustard either. It's in between orange and mustard yellow, I would say. Okay, look at these wheels. They do look like they would be hubcaps on a steel wheel. Just, there's no real brake there, you know? I kind of feel like it'd be nice to have a brake. And also, excuse me, also, why is there no color here in the center? There should be a black circle with a Porsche crest inside of it. But, this is just all chrome, so it's kind of lacking, I think. I also feel like it would be nice to have some black paint wash inside these little slots here on the perimeter, because they're quite obvious to look at on the real car, but because this is all chrome, it's really hard to see. So that's too bad. Alright, we got a little silver paint along the bottom. Here. I don't know why I can't focus here. It might be those wheels. Okay, so silver paint. That little circle I think is for like a jacking up point. And then the silver paint runs around the bumpers, which is nice. The bumpers do seem to be separate pieces, so that's nice. It seems pretty accurate. The door handle is painted silver and it's sticking out. It looks pretty good to me. Yeah. And then the windows, let's see, there's some silver paint on the plastic and there's some silver trim on the casting. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so these bug-eye headlights, they look pretty good. Nice thick lenses, and then a nice piece of chrome plastic around it like the real thing. And it's not flush like the real thing either. Like there's literally a piece of chrome there, and then the light starts behind it. So that's very accurate, actually. I think a lazy company, boy, is so chromed. I think it's having a hard time focusing. But I think a lazy company would have put the clear just flush with the front surface of this chrome piece. But maybe you can see it there. Yeah, it's literally vertical, but the chrome is at an angle. So that's very well done. Okay. Alright, so now also nice, separate orange blinkers. So that's good. And then they printed on these little silver grills. Ideally it would have had a little silver trim going around the whole thing like on the real photograph, but at least they're plastic. The reason why I won't buy the TLV NSX is because their turn signals are painted on that NSX, and for the price of that thing, it's just not worth it to me. And that also goes for Ignition models and Hobby Japan. All of the first generation NSX models have painted turn signals, yet they're all premium priced, so I'm just not going to buy that model. Okay, Porsche crest looks pretty good. Pretty good there. Sorry, my cat is in this room, and apparently some of its hair is inside my respiratory system. Okay, so let's see. Silver bumperettes look pretty good. So I'm wondering if these should be painted silver. You saw the fog lights, but I think I may have saw a photo without the fog lights. So maybe this is blanked off, and then people just buy fog lights as an option, and they punch that open. I don't know. If anyone knows better, please leave a comment if Porsches ever did look like this, where this is just body colored and flesh. Okay, so this is one of my big problems with TLV. They just put these blank white license plates on, and it just doesn't look realistic because I've never seen a car with a blank rectangle on it. I really feel they would be better off just leaving the front plate off and giving you a piece separately, and you can choose to add it. You know, especially old cars. Old cars weren't mandated to have front license plates in most countries. Okay, let's see. Yeah, wiper blades, they have a little bit of molding, so that's good. A lot of TLVs have just printed on blades, so this is better than the norm. The silver paint around the windshield trim is looking good. This is nice. The fuel filler door looks nice. The panel caps in general look nice. Okay. And it's not too orange peely. It's not the smoothest paint job, but it's no worse than any other brand. The roof is much better, and that's generally the case with most other brands as well. So really nice roof, actually, quite smooth. Okay, so this side we got a side mirror, which is nice. This is one thing where I do feel they should put on, because I had the RX-7, and it took me probably an hour to put on those mirrors because I want to make sure they were even, and I still didn't get them even. So it's nice that they did this, and it's nice that it's chrome because I guess then it's reflective, right? So that's realistic. Okay. Suspension. Okay, so thick plastic taillights. To nitpick, it would be nice to have a little silver trim around them, like Greenlight does. Alright, yeah, it would be nice to write Porsche or something there. These little bumperettes there. Huh, well this is interesting. They're casted in. So this is a separate piece. I'm wondering if it's metal or if it's plastic, this bumper. Well, I guess it doesn't matter too much, but let's see about this text here. That looks nice and legible. That looks... what does this say? Oh yeah, it's 911, but there's like pieces connecting those together. Okay. So this rear grille, it's black. Looks like it's painted silver on the edges. Looks alright. The only thing bad is a big dent in it. So that's not very good quality control, right? That's too bad. I mean, if this is a green light, I kind of expect it. But for the price of this thing, I kind of expect that to not be there. What do you guys think? Okay, so we have an interior. Looks like it's black. Oh, but nice. We got a little wood steering wheel. Alright, so this is a nice interior. Some of my recent TLVs just have one plain color, but not this one. Because this one's got like yellow or wood on the dashboard, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And then, yeah, the seats are black and stuff, but it's nice to see just that little extra color in there. That really helps, you know, sell me on the price of this thing. Okay. Boy, sorry. My nose keeps running. Alright, what's on the bottom of this? Alright, so 2010 is riveted together. So modifications is going to be hard. You know, wheel swaps. I've yet to do a wheel swap on a TLV because I just don't want to drill this apart on something this expensive, right? But it would be nice. I mean, I would love to take some of their other castings and put some modern wheels on them. But this one I'm okay with the steel hubcaps. There is a version, and it's on Champion DJK and Lamley Group's channels, where they have a maroon one and it's got the Fuchs wheels. But the black part is supposed to be hollow, I think, and they just have them flattened off and painted black, so that's why I chose to go with the hubcap version. I like my wheels to be hollow if possible. Alright, a little exhaust here is part of the metal base there. And it would have been nice if that was painted silver. I mean, looking at that photograph from before, it's a chromed exhaust tip. So that would have been nice to have as well. Okay, well, I guess, you know, I'm just getting used to TLV, and it's a good model, for sure. I just feel like there's such easy ways they could make the models fantastic, you know, and put them in line with like Inno64 or LCD or Tarmac Works. But they just kind of do their own thing, and their thing apparently was like from 10 years ago. They're just doing whatever they did 10 years ago. So that's the problem with that brand. Alright, let's compare it to a couple of other vehicles here. Yeah, we'll go with the Solar Spinner this time around. Yeah, so again, chrome exhaust tip, and this is questionable. Do they all have these lights down here, or are some of them blanked off there? Okay, so the predecessor was the 356, and so I have one from Kyosho, and this is the 356C Coupe. So Kyosho does a good job also, you know, separate bumper pieces, plastic lights in the front, but it has painted lights in the rear, but when you see how small the lights are in the rear, you can kind of understand why those would not be plastic. But this is interesting because I think both cars might have the same wheels in reality. So let's take a look at these wheels. You see how much more obvious it is to have these slots here around the perimeter, where here, because they're chromed and blanked off, it's really hard to see that detail. I think it's possibly because Kyosho wheels might be hollow. Yeah. No. I'm trying to see if there's light getting through. No, those are blanked off. So they're blanked off, but they must have gone and added black paint in there, or molded them in such a way that they're so deep that they look dark. So that's one plus about Kyosho. Their wheels are generally much better. But the Kyosho probably cost $7 when it was new, and so that's a big difference. Okay, so another Kyosho would be, I think, the successor. This is I believe a 930 Speedster. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the successor to the 911. I was looking on the internet, and a lot of the images say it's called the G series. I don't know the story behind that. I always just thought of this as the 930 Porsche. Okay. And so here are actually Fuchs wheels. So in this case, Kyosho has air passing between the spokes of the Fuchs wheels like the real wheels do. And so on the alternative of this, that airspace is just painted black. So that's why I passed on it. I feel like it's really lazy on this brand's part to not update their molds. They easily just invest in some new wheel molds, update the wheels, and make it look nicer. But they just choose to put out the same stuff from 2010, and that's what kind of irks me about the brand. Okay, well, a lot of chatter has been on the internet of recent about the value of TLVs, and if you do look up old 911s on eBay, they are exceptionally expensive. And so that's another reason why I decided to buy this, because if I ever change my mind in the future, I would have to pay a lot of money to get one of these. So that's why I pre-ordered this. But I just want to give you guys some advice, in my opinion. Anything made of die-cast metal is not a good investment. The die-cast metal itself is flawed. It's not a stable metal. It outgasses. It's basically a conglomeration of a bunch of different metals. And so it's not meant to last. It's a lot of TLVs get paint rash, but a lot of Kyoshos get paint rash. Oddly, I don't really see too much paint rash on Hot Wheels, although I have seen it. So it's the outgassing of the chemicals, I think, that cause this problem. So I'm going to show you the worst paint rash I have in my collection. It is made by TLV. So when is this from? This is from 2014. So this is even newer, at least originally when it was made. But the whole thing is pretty much paint rashed. Right? So, if you guys are going into these thinking you're going to make money off of TLV, if you show a picture like this on eBay, I highly doubt you're going to get top dollar for it. And it's just the fact that these things are made of die-cast metal. And die-cast metal, unless it's properly painted, isn't good. I used to have a 1/12 scale Mini Champs McLaren F1. So that was an expensive model, being a 1/12 scale. And within 2 years, the door started to get paint rash. So again, die-cast metal, long term, might not be the wisest investment. But for today, I think we have a pretty good model. It's not flawless because it has those dents in the rear grille, but it's still a pretty cool looking very first generation 911. The other color of TLV is a 911S, and so that's why it has the Fuchs wheels. But this is just the regular 911, so I guess this would be literally the very first 911 in die-cast form. So I like it. Alright, so I guess I'll see you guys hopefully in the next review of something related to Porsche or TLV. Bye.